Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel, and please do not forget to like and subscribe, thank you. Unshaken and unapologetic, Kim Go-eun shows no signs of regret as Lee Minho watches her enjoy every moment in the arms of her new lover. The city's night sky was awash in gold and silver lights, reflecting off polished glass buildings and rippling across the surface of the Han River. It was one of those evenings where souls seemed to hum with a certain kind of magic, a quiet but unmistakable electricity. And in the middle of it all, Kim Go-eun was living a scene that could have been torn from the script of a romance film, except this was no fiction. Dressed in an elegant, off-shoulder ivory gown that seemed to float around her, she was the center of quiet attention. Her hair was swept back in a graceful low bun, with a few loose strands framing her glowing face. Every step she took seemed deliberate, not for the cameras, not for the public, but for herself. And at her side, a tall, confident man whose face the public may not know, but whose presence made it abundantly clear that he was someone who belonged there. Hand in hand, the two moved through the softly lit outdoor terrace of one of the city's most exclusive riverside restaurants. Between them, there was no rush, no awkwardness, no space for hesitation. There was a gentle familiarity in the way his hand rested on the small of her back, in the way she tilted her head when he spoke, in the way her laughter, genuine, unrestrained, echoed into the evening air. And just a few tables away, Lee Minho watched. It wasn't a coincidence that they were in the same place that night. Some say fate has a way of staging these moments, a way of placing people exactly where they will feel the deepest contrast between their past and their present. Lee Minho, ever the picture of refined composure, was dressed in a black suit with a crisp, white shirt. His expression, at first, was unreadable. But for those who knew him well, there was something telling in the way his fingers rested tightly around the stem of his wine glass, something in the stillness of his posture that betrayed a storm brewing within. The man who once knew every nuance of Kim Go-eun's smile was now watching her share that same smile with someone else. The woman who had once leaned into his shoulder on cold nights was now leaning into another man's warmth. And the hardest part? She looked happy, genuinely, breathtakingly happy, in a way that made it clear she wasn't performing for anyone's benefit. The unbothered glow. People close to Kim Go-eun have noticed the shift in her over the past few months. She had grown lighter, freer, her laughter more frequent, her silences more peaceful. Whatever heaviness had once followed her seemed to have been left behind, replaced by a quiet strength that made her even more captivating. "She's not just over him," one insider commented softly. "She's past the point where she even needs to think about being over him. This is a new chapter, and Lee Minho isn't even a footnote anymore." That evening, Kim Go-eun's unbothered demeanor was like a silent statement, not an act of cruelty, not an attempt to provoke, but simply a truth lived out in real time. She had moved on, fully and completely. She didn't glance in his direction. Not once. Whether she knew he was watching or not was irrelevant. Her attention was exactly where she wanted it to be, on the man beside her, the man who leaned in to whisper something that made her throw her head back in laughter. The lover who stole her heart. While the public still knows little about Kim Go-eun's new love, whispers describe him as steady, warm, and fiercely protective of her. Friends say he's the kind of man who notices the small things, the way her hands get cold in air-conditioned rooms, the way she takes her coffee without sugar, the way her mood changes when she's tired but doesn't want to admit it. He doesn't chase the spotlight. He doesn't need to compete with her career. Instead, he offers her something far more rare in her world, a sense of normalcy and unwavering support. "People think celebrities want grand gestures all the time," said a close source. But what Go-eun needed was consistency. Someone who doesn't just love her on the red carpet but loves her in the quiet, ordinary moments too. She's found that now. Lee Minho's silent struggle. For Lee Minho, the evening must have been a test of his ability to keep his emotions locked away behind a public mask. To outsiders, he appeared calm, sipping his drink, engaging in minimal conversation with the people at his table. But the truth, according to a person seated nearby, was far more telling. There was a moment when she laughed, that deep, genuine laugh, and he just stopped moving. He wasn't listening to anyone at his table. His eyes stayed fixed on her for what felt like a full minute. You could tell he was remembering. And perhaps he was remembering the first time he heard that same laugh and thought it was the most beautiful sound in the world. The way she used to look at him, with unguarded affection. The plans they had once talked about, plans that never saw the light of day. But now, all of that belonged to another man. A woman reclaimed. When the dinner ended, Kim Go-eun and her lover walked out hand in hand, disappearing into the warm night air. They didn't rush. They didn't hide. And still, not once did she look back. For her, this was not a night about proving anything to anyone. It was simply a night of living fully, in the present, with someone who makes her feel cherished. Later, when approached by a reporter who gently asked about the public's reaction to her being seen with her lover while Minho was present, she replied with calm conviction, "I'm happy. That's all there is to it. I won't apologize for that. Life moves forward, and so do I." Her words were not laced with bitterness. They carried no anger, no need to defend herself. They were simply the truth of a woman who had made peace with the past and chosen joy over nostalgia. The closing image. And so, the night leaves us with two indelible images. Minho, silent, watching the woman he once loved bask in a happiness he can no longer provide. Kim Go-eun, radiant, confident, and entirely unbothered, walking forward with the man who now holds her heart. In the world of celebrity stories, breakups often come with drama, accusations, and endless cycles of what-ifs. But this was different. This was the quiet finality of a chapter well and truly closed. And if there was a message in the way Kim Go-eun carried herself that night, it was this. Some things end, not because they weren't beautiful, but because something even more beautiful was waiting on the other side.